Well, hello again. I'm Mark Ritchie and part of the hard-working committee for this year's HDHR Nationals at Bathurst 26. I'm joined today by Dr. Terry, a highly respected figure in the Holden community, known for his decades of experience through his company, Bebco Auto Products, and his role and such things as judging with the Council of Motor Clubs. Today we'll be chatting about his knowledge on HD and HR Holdens in particular, obviously, what makes a great car and his contribution to the community over many years. So, Terry, g'day.
Hi, Mark.
You're well known. You're known as Dr. Terry on the Holden community forums and stuff like that.
It's a name that stuck. I didn't invent it. A friend of mine did, and it was about 15, 20 years ago, and it stuck.
Yeah.
Very handy when you use it as a byline on a forum answer or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it does come with some. When I came across it, it's like, oh, okay, I'll pay attention to this.
The doctor's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's it gives some sort of authority.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can just tell by what you write that you know what you're saying, and it's done very tactfully as well. In fact, when I first met you, I didn't know who you were.
That's right.
And without getting into the details of things, I went to Terry's auto part shop.
Part shop as it is now.
Yeah,
Used to
part
be a
shop.
very large workshop.
Yeah.
I've concentrated over the years now on parts.
On just the parts. And I went in there and we got talking just as we are here today. 20 minutes goes by, and as I was turning around to walk out the shop, I was after a HR radio at the time, and I was walking out the shop, and I stopped and thought, and I turned around and I said, I bet you this dude knows where I can get one. And as it turned out, he happened to have a refurbished one in the back of his boot and his Commodore out the front of the shop that day. So
And you wanted the genuine article, the Air Chief.
I wanted the Air Chief. I wanted a particular one.
Push button.
And it just, again, I think I've said it on a couple of these videos, things happen for a reason, and so I got myself a radio. Thank you very much. Can you give us a quick overview of your background and how you became to be involved with Holdens?
Well, I've been playing with Holden since with my dad and brothers in the backyard in the early 60s, where we used to build cars at home. My first job was in the taxi industry, putting 2A radios and taximeters into dashboards, mostly Holdens in those days.
Yeah.
Then I got involved in the electronics industry. In the mid-70s, we started Bebco Automotive with my dad and brothers.
Yeah.
That's 50 years old this year.
Yeah.
And through that, we raced a drag racing car very successfully. A Castlereagh in the old days was one of the quickest Monaros in Australia.
Yeah.
And I've always had an interest in the technical side of Holdens. I've always collected all the workshop manuals, all the technical data, all the circuit diagrams.
Yeah.
So people have come to me and said, Terry, how do you do this?
Yeah.
Because being an engineer, I've looked at the engineering side rather than just the nuts and bolts and spanner side of things.
Yeah.
And that's become more of a thing lately with electronics so big in cars.
Yeah.
So we're now the centre of attention when it comes to, well, in this case, not just Holdens, but all electronics.
Yeah.
But my passion for Holdens is still there. Over the years, I've written 3 books on the subject. A friend of mine talked me into writing 45 years of Holden back in the 90s.
Yeah.
We backed that up with 50 years of Holden for the anniversary. I've since done 60 years of Holden, and I've got another one on the press at the moment for 72 and the final years of Holden.
I must admit, when I was in your shop, I did come in a few other times for whatever reason. There was a guy in your shop, and he just randomly says, if Terry doesn't know about it, no one can get it, or something.
That's my friend Stephen. He's been involved with cars since he was in nappies.
Yeah.
Once again, mainly Holdens.
Yeah, that's good. Nice. So, so as you mentioned, you've been with you've been running Bebco Auto Products. I didn't realise it was your dad and brothers as well.
Yep.
For 50 years, and how did that start? Well, obviously,
interest in cars and electronics at the same time.
And you're what age at that time? You mentioned it.
I was 22 when I started.
Wow.
I started with holiday pay from my previous employment, and we started from, as you do, very small, and grew fairly big fairly quickly. We specialised in things that other people didn't specialise in. For example, the very month we started is when the pollution gear came out, 1976.
Okay.
And the average mechanic had no idea.
Yeah, of course.
So I got the workshop manuals and worked at it very quickly, and so we did a lot of tuning and improvements based on that. We knew what we were doing. The average guy used to just pull hoses off and block things up and disable things, mostly illegally and usually to the detriment of the car. They tried to improve it, but they went backwards.
Well, they probably thought it was restricting the car, so...
Well, that's right. The theory was it was restricting the car. Let's make it like it used to be.
That's right.
Without realising that there were changes inside the engine, like the camshaft and the jetting of the carburetor, that were working against you. So unless you did distributor and carburetor and camshaft modifications, all that work you did, you were going backwards.
Wow. Okay.
So, and then with fuel injection, it became even more important that everything worked properly.
Wow. I mean, you mentioned just before about the technical manuals and stuff. The HR Blue manual, for example, is very sought after.
But my original passion was HDs. My first car, 1970, was a HD. I bought it from Capital Motors on Parramatta Road for $1,600.
Wow.
It was a Premier wagon. It was pretty flashy.
Premier wagon?
Premier wagon.
What colour?
With an electric tailgate. It was tawny grey with a Fowler's roof, red interior, and it had the electric tailgate. It was quite a bit of gear on its day.
No.
I've still got that car.
You still got it?
I've still got it. I've still got that car. It's been through various lives. It's been repainted. It's been re-engined 3 or 4 times, but I still have that car. And I've also got another HD that I bought about 30 years ago that's a pristine original, 60,000 miles on the clock. And
Genuine.
179 automatic and mechanically the same as the old girl. Yep.
Much smarter than I was. So I don't have my original HR.
And the first workshop manual I bought, and I've now got hundreds, was the HD workshop.
It was the HD one?
The HD one.
Yeah, the white cover one.
$8.50 at Boardhead, Bankstown.
Yeah, right. Well, see, I've done some mods to my car and redone a lot of the pink wiring in my HR, and reading the schematic in that manual, the HR manual I'm talking about, but the level of the colour and detail and the way the indications are, like they actually draw it like it's
the switch, the schematic, how the contacts of the switch,
how it's laid out in the car.
Well, this is right from the J onwards, right up to the mid 70s. Their circuit diagrams in their manuals are second to none. And none of the other manufacturers had anything like it. They're all little black lines with squiggly figures.
But
the Holden stuff is beautiful colours.
We're talking about the 60s, and it must have come from America, surely.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we once again, as we usually do, we get the American idea and make it better. Our stuff's slightly better than the American. Absolutely.
Right. Did we redraft the manual here in Australia?
Oh, the manual's totally ground up from here.
Wow.
Oh yeah, all that was
but
done
the
in
schematic and all that.
They had an entire section to do manuals. For owners' manuals, workshop manuals, parts manuals, were all done in-house.
Wow.
All their photography was done in-house. All their PR photography, everything was done in-house in those days.
In Australia?
Yes, in Holden, Melbourne.
Because that's full on, because to produce a manual like that, I mean, you mentioned yourself writing books and stuff like that.
They didn't print it, of course, but they laid it out and did all the technical side.
Yeah, but to do that level of detail as a drafter, as a typist,
well, they had a team.
all of those people would have been working together, and the level of accuracy in that book is quite good.
Well, you've only got to compare the Holden manual to any of the aftermarket ones from the same era. There was Maxillaries, there's Scientific Publications, all these others. It's chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
The drawings, and if you're really interested in building cars and restoring cars to the nth degree, to accompany the workshop manual, get a parts manual. It has drawings that aren't in the workshop manual. So you've got even more detail of what goes where, what screw goes where, how something goes together. Oh, really handy.
I know people in the club, the HD HR club, that I've been to their house and they've got their TV, whatever, and they've got their favourite chair, armchair, and the blue manual, HR manual, sitting right beside.
Exactly.
And it's there all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like their Bibles.
It's also, the fact that it's on paper is much easier to use than a CD.
I love it. Yeah. I've actually had one. I got a cheapy manual, which Arthur Hibbard, you might know him from Sutton Parts. I got one off eBay or somewhere, and it was missing the front cover. the back cover was ripped. It was missing the first few pages. He photographed it all for me, and I got it
complete.
And I got it bound down in Auburn, near your work, in fact. By some book person that made it hardcover.
Oh yeah.
So it's a proper hardcover version of it now. I have it in the garage.
Yeah, they use the thick cardboard to make it.
Yeah. I've had it.
I've got a few old manuals like that.
I've got the spine rebound and whatever. And anyway, we're getting off track. Well, that's good, because I wanted to talk about sort of what was the Holden scene like a bit back then when you started. So it's nice to know that their level of quality was next to none. Obviously.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
they led the industry. They owned, in the 60s and 70s, they were number one in Australia.
Yeah.
Manufacturing wise, information wise, parts distribution wise, they owned the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all right. What makes the HD and the HR models unique compared to other Holdens? Not only manufacturers but other.
Well, I think it's
Holdens.
coming of age, because you see, the older cars are fairly primitive. You have a look on FC or an FB or whatever.
Yeah.
They've got kingpins, drum brakes, old-fashioned gearbox, that sort of thing. By the time you get to HD and HR, you've got disc brakes.
Yeah.
You've got a quality engine, 179, 186, various options like power steering, that sort of thing available.
Yes.
They were true six-seater because of the curved side.
Yeah.
Ball joint suspension. All of those improvements. It was really a coming of age. The company had been by 68.
Yeah.
They'd been here for 20 years.
Yeah.
It was really coming of age of all those early design ideals coming together.
Yeah.
And for me, it was my first car, so
Yeah.
a lot of people that rebuild cars always hark back to the car of their youth.
Yeah,
For me, it's HD HR.
That's what I did. My first car was a HR in the 90s. It was already 25 years old.
Mine was 5 years old.
Yeah, so it had a lot. I've spoken about this in a few other videos. It was the prelude to the Tirana GTR and the XU1s and even the HS4s were the start of this.
That's right. Well, you had motor racing was developing at Bathurst, so you had the S4EH, then you had your X2s, 186S, 4-speed Opel, all those things were all coming online.
And if anyone knows Terry or seen anything of Terry, knows absolutely the finest of details, which boggles my mind at the moment. It's too much to talk about right now. But
too much information in the storage.
I've got to keep this. But I'm sure we'll get into some things. But I found out the other day that the Opel 4-speed was manufactured in the Philippines.
That's right. It's a German design, as the name Opel suggests. But the information we found recently was put together in the Philippines. Now, that would have been due to cost considerations, because the labour charges in the Philippines were far, far cheaper than anything out of Europe. Europe by the 70s was getting quite expensive. Yeah. Now, if you remember, there are quite a few other things.
But the Philippines are quite an advanced nation, but yes, obviously
cheap
labour would have been cheap. So.
But see, we sold cars in the Philippines. They were selling left-hand drive.
Of course.
They were selling them CKD packs. They were put together at the General Motors factory in the Philippines, and by the late 70s we're also there's a box called the Filipino box, which was a 4-speed, very commonly used in the Tiranas and the Commodores, which was a 4-speed. It wasn't as good as the Aussie 4-speed M20, but it was more stronger than the original Opel design, and that was the gearbox they used for nearly 10 years, I think. Came from the Philippines, called the Filipino box.
Box.
Officially the Torque Master.
Okay. That was in Tirana. What was that?
Tiranas and Commodores. Early Commodores up to VH.
Behind the 6?
Yep. Oh yeah, not good enough for the V8. It was behind the 173 and the 202 in Commodores and Tiranas.
Wow. Okay.
From around, I think, it replaced the Aussie 4-speed in about 75. 75 was the first use of it.
Wow, we could dive off into a whole. There's
a lot of anomalies.
Let's keep it under the nationals and HDs and HRs. So I suppose getting into the judging sides of things, you are the head judge of the CMC.
Yeah, they have in the CMC they have what they call the judging pool.
Yes.
And I run that, so I guess I'm the head judge.
Right. Okay.
I've got a pool of half a dozen guys from different backgrounds.
Right.
Mostly ex-tradesmen, usually panel beaters, mechanics, motor trimmers, that sort of thing.
People know what they're doing.
They all come together at the big CMC show at Eastern Creek in August. But throughout the year we judge all sorts of different cars, mainly show and shine. We do everything from the All French Day, Buick Day. We did the Mustang All American Day back in January, but mainly show and shine level. Not a big difference between show and shine and true concours.
So what separates a good restoration from an average one in these cars?
Owner involvement. You can tell a car that's had a good restoration, no matter how much money he spent, it's all down to the TLC of the owner. If the guy just sits back in his chair and writes checks and gets somebody else to do all the work, that level of TLC or tender loving care is not there. You get the bloke that builds a car in the backyard with him and his dad. Even if he only spends a small amount of money, the general fit and finish on that car is better than what I call a checkbook car, for sure.
Yeah, and obviously the level of passion and knowledge about the car.
Well,
the worst thing is when someone doesn't know about their bits of their car, when you go, "Well, how'd you do that?"
Well, that's it.
Oh, I just had someone do it.
A lot of the best restorations come in the second or third attempt because most guys will go and restore a car.
Yeah.
They'll realise the mistakes they've made.
Yeah.
They've realised they've modified too far or not modified enough or haven't changed things.
Yep.
So the second car's better. By the time it gets to the third car,
Yeah.
they've now been to swap meets. They've got all the new old stock
Yeah.
parts. They've bought bits off different models. They want to modify it. They want to put a larger engine or a different gearbox. By then they know exactly what fits and exactly what doesn't fit to make the car a better car.
Yeah. Overall appearance. Overall appearance.
And that's regardless of whether it's stock authentic or modified. The same applies to both.
So, when judging,
Yeah.
details judges always look for and what owners might overlook.
The most commonly overlooked thing is general wiring and plumbing layout under the bonnet, regardless of whether a car is stock or modified. Some under bonnets are very, very neat. Once again, that neatness comes down to the amount of time put in by the owner.
It takes a lot of time.
Now you can have the best panel job and the best paint job in the world, but how often do you see a $50,000 paint job and the door gaps are all terrible?
Yeah.
Or there's a mismatch, or they're painted the wrong colour, or the wrong colour finish.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. It depends what level of judging you're doing, but when it comes to presentation, panel gap and the fitment of bumper bars are just as important as the $1 million paint job.
Yeah. What have we got here?
Well, that's the last book. That's the 60-year book.
Oh, wow.
That's the 50-year book. And that's the first one.
Oh, there we go. We'll get some good photos of that and we can put that, splice that in as part of the...
Yeah. And
Yeah, I know.
Once again, this is all the technical side of things. What engine and gearbox, what's in what model, what car has bucket seats, when did power brakes first get fitted, which had the first two-speed wipers, all in there. It's not a motor magazine, it's not a car sales brochure, it's not a story about the management or the building of the company or how good or bad each car was. It's just from the mechanical side, from the nut and bolt side.
We're really lucky, to have someone like you even put it into books like this. So it just restores it, retains it forever.
I call them argument solvers. How often do you hear a guy arguing over when did the first V8 come out or when was the 327 fitted, all this sort of thing? It's all in there. Chapter, verse, chassis number, the date it came out, the day it was released, all of that sort of thing's all in there.
Yeah, wow. So just going back to the what judges look for. I know myself. I've spent hours trying to tidy the wiring up underneath my, and then I'll come back a couple months later and look and think, geez, it looks like a dog's breakfast. So the amount of time that it takes to do it and do it right. It's
also not just the tightness of the harness itself, little things. One of the things that really irk me are. If you want to put a set of leads on a car, a set of ignition leads, go for a good quality set of leads, preferably black. Unless you want to make it a colour extravaganza, why do people use bright orange and blue leads? You've got a red motor, you've got chrome fittings, you've got a black underbonnet. It's colour coordinated. Black leads. What's hard about black leads? Red boots are okay, but black leads makes a difference. Little things like that. And the same with the brake booster. The brake booster, you can chrome it, you can paint it black, or you can paint it as per original, but what it is, make it look nice. Make it look like it came out of the box. Colour's up to you.
As we mentioned, you're obviously very heavily involved with the Council of Motor Clubs. The CMC, is it
CMC, it used to be...
Is that Australia or New South Wales thing?
It's New South Wales. It's the Council of Motor Clubs. It's the club of where all the car clubs join. We have 240 member car clubs. And we control things like, not control, but we have things to do with insurance companies, with the RTA, for instance, all of the vintage plate, HVS and CVS scheme all goes through the CMC because we were the people that instigated it. It used to have a very long name, about this long, to do with the Council of Vintage and Veteran Motor Clubs, because it started with the English crowd with their Jaguars and Rovers and that's Rileys, that sort of thing, way back in the 60s. But of course, as times come on, the vast majority of clubs are Holden, Ford, Morris, all the different common cars. We've now got a lot of Japanese manufacturers on in there. The Toyotas, there's Datsun clubs, multiple. So it's all, and all of those clubs have got their own interest. They all
over 20, 30 years of age, isn't it?
Anything over 30 years old, that's for the registration. But any car club of any year or any mark, even if they you might start a BYD car club. You can join the CMC. It's a council of motor clubs where everybody, it's just a like-minded group.
Sure. And as the lead judge, how many, and your team, how many car events would you be involved with throughout the year?
It varies from year to year. COVID saw a bit of a lull. We usually do about a dozen. You'd say roughly one a month. We might miss a month and two the next month.
Yeah, okay.
Everything from small car club shows, their show day with 20 cars, to the nationals, to our own show, which has got 1,800 cars. Yeah, the French Day pulls, something like 300. Yeah. It varies a lot.
We're very lucky with our HDHR Nationals this year because, we reached out to Terry and to get independent judging for what is such a large event this year. Again, over 260 cars. We really needed to properly consider the entries that are coming in from not only all over Australia but New Zealand.
That's right, New Zealand. Yeah.
12 from Tasmania, 5 from Western Australia. I mean, this is big time.
Well, this is the main reason that I think originally that the judging pool was formed, so that car clubs like yourself can get total independence.
Yeah.
We don't know any of your members. No. We don't know any of the cars.
No.
We can come along and objectively look at the cars and pick out the real one. Yeah. Whereas if you have a lot of in-house judging, there's a lot of favouritism. Where says, you won because your brother's the vice president, or whatever.
Or perceived favouritism.
Perceived favouritism, perceived bias. That's right. Or the same car keeps on winning. See, we have no idea who won last year.
No. You don't even know where it was last year.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've attended a couple of your meetings. I went to Cara as a viewer.
Because you bought your own HD.
I did, and I did judge many years ago at Kiama.
Yes.
I was judging with Brian Horn down there. The new guys invited us down.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've been involved with a lot of the. Yeah. I've done the FEFC, FBK, JH Nationals, all of those.
Yeah.
Because being a Holden man, they usually call me along.
And we must say you were going to bring your HD, but time got the better, and you're just a judge.
This year at work has been extremely busy.
Yeah. No
Not enough hours in a day.
And
as we here are talking at 6:30 on a Sunday afternoon, because that's all that's left of the week.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit more about judging. We touched on a bit about what you're looking for. Yep. Feel free to add more to what we already discussed. But also, how important is authenticity and presentation versus presentation?
Well, a show like this, it's all about presentation. Because we're not doing true Concours, we're not actually looking for authenticity unless that particular class calls for it. In other words, if a car is an original survivor, the more original or closer to factory that car is, that's what counts.
That's one of the criteria.
But if you're talking about a totally restored car, of the fact that it might not have the original trim colour, it might have the original seats or the original wheels, that doesn't count it against it. We're looking at the condition of those items.
Yeah.
Are the tyres clean? Are the wheels clean?
Yeah.
Are the panels straight? Authenticity is not critical at this event.
No.
And a lot of people think because we come from the CMC, they perceive us as, concourse experts. We're far from that. I mean, all our guys...
You're ex-drag racer.
I'm an ex-drag racer. Two of the guys coming along are cam scrutineers and flag marshals.
Okay.
And they're involved in circuit racing.
Yeah, right.
So we're far from stuffed shirts who are only interested in stock cars. That's for sure.
And you're a mechanic by trade, from memory.
Mechanical engineer, yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cool. Right. Okay. Well, speaking at this point, I'd probably like to make a mention about Terry Thompson's passing, unfortunately.
He was the backbone of the CMC since since I've been there, some 30 years.
30 years.
My car club, the JH Car Club, joined council in 93. He was president then.
Yeah.
So now talking, that's 33 years ago. And he sadly passed away just prior to Christmas.
Yeah, and Terry, for those of you who may not know, Terry is he did have a lot of health problems, but he seemed to trudge on for a lot of years.
He did. He was only in his late 70s. The cancer sort of got him in the end.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, he would have lived another. He would have lived another 10.
Yeah.
But he was the backbone of the CMC. He was also solely responsible for the classic registration scheme.
He is the one that signed all the things.
Everything. That's
everything.
Right. I mean, we had the original. If you go back prior to 2000, we had the old vintage car permit to move thing, which was a nightmare as far as insurance and all that sort of thing, where every car club had the same numbers. Like there were 002, 003, 004, and there were 140 of them. It was crazy. So they changed the historic scheme and made it a proper formal method of registration. That kept the RTA happy, the insurance companies happy. It made everything legal and above board. His next project was to get modified cars, legally modified cars with a blue slip and engineering on a legal footing. The same way that street rods have their registration system. And he was solely responsible for that.
And we believe the CMC's in good hands. I believe his daughter's involved a bit with it now.
Yes, and we also have the Vice President Boyd and his wife Karen as the secretary. Both they've been with the club for years, and they're a backbone of the club. The work that they do behind the scenes is amazing. We've got a very strong committee of 8 people, and I'm included. And it's a very strong committee.
Awesome.
Because we lost our other Vice President Tony DeLuca, who's with it for years. He's ex-Leyland. He used to worked on the P76.
Oh wow!
He passed away about 5 years ago, and that was another loss like Terry.
Oh wow!
Been with the group for 30, 40 years.
What, the 44-gallon drum boot?
Exactly.
He worked on that.
He worked on the car. He was an engineer on the line.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, look, in my role as a grateful role of entrant coordinator, I get to see all walks of life, and I see people are part of clubs that don't like taking their cars to the nationals. I see people, that are and they aren't. And they just go to the. What does it mean, like an event like the HR Nationals means to the Holden community? To me, it's a
huge get-together celebration of 3 or 4 years of production of one of the best cars out there. Absolutely. And I mean, the thing about nationals, it attracts the cream, attracts the good cars. The good cars will want to be there. You've got a little section there for 4-speed Opel cars. All those 186, all those Premiers, all those cars that have had restorations. I'm sure there are guys rushing now to get their car ready for June.
That's actually
nationals. That happens all the time with nationals. We did the FEFC nationals about 10 years ago at Orange. Very similar event. They got about 300 cars. Very successful event. FBEK up at Coffs Harbour a couple of years ago. That was again much the same. Same enthusiasm, same group, similar group of people, and the same outcome.
No, that's not true. Fairly obvious thing, but that typifies exactly what a national event is.
Exactly. Get together like minds. And the thing about it is people ask questions, and I enjoy answering questions. You'll always get the two, as I said, you'll get the two guys arguing, when did this clip change, or when did the core move from here to there? Guys that really car men down to their bootstraps, they're the sort of things they argue about.
Gotcha, all good. What have you thought about this, the interest in this year's Nationals? I mean, yes, it is at Bathurst. It's truly mind-blowing. We've got guys that have lived and worked up in Papua New Guinea all their working life as a helicopter pilot, originally from Perth, is now retired in Cairns, and is driving or towing his car all the way down from Cairns down to Bathurst.
Well, you'll get a lot of guys when they've worked all their life, they've retired, they've got a few bob. They've got a car that perhaps they've kept for a while, or they really wanted a particular car. They've gone out and bought a nice HD HR Premier, and we're going to see a lot of those cars where those cars have been bought recently and improved.
That's right. It's really going to be truly...
And being retirees, a lot of these guys have got some pretty good super up their sleeves, and some money does get spent.
And look, it's going to be next level. Like, just the number of quality cars that I've seen through the entries that have come in. Wow.
And you'll get to see cars that you've never seen before from interstate.
100%.
And that's when we compare different factories. Oh, this car was made in Brisbane, they did it this way. Oh, this car was built in Melbourne, they did it this way. All the little differences between states, because Holden had factories in virtually every state.
There are some differences.
Absolutely.
I think like the stone guard underneath the motor. I think that was mounted a different. Someone was telling me that it's mounted a different way in a different state. I bought mine from Victoria, and then someone says, that's a little bit different to the New South Wales one. Or whatever.
Well, even little things you don't think of, like the nuts and bolts. Now, the nuts and bolts might have come from a factory in Adelaide called Ajax.
That's what it was.
But a mob in Brisbane called Cook or somebody supplied a bolt that had the same thread, different head.
That's what the difference was. It was a different bolt. and
Different bolt head.
That's what it was. All right, well, just wrapping this up. After 50 years in the industry, what keeps you passionate about Holdens? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious.
Writing books, owning a reasonable collection, and looking forward to restoring some of those. I've got 6 that are in original good condition, but I've got a further 3 or 4 that need work.
Wow.
Now, I've got to find some time to do that. At the moment, I haven't got it. When I retire, I will have.
Right. And you got a bit to retire? You're gonna,
yeah, I've got a garage here.
I've
I've got a garage this side of the house, I've got a garage that side of the house, and a very big workshop that's all mine.
Well, that's great. So hopefully you're with us for a long, long time and you can do all that.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Any advice for the next generation of HDHR owners and restorers?
Keep it simple, do what you want.
Yeah.
Don't overspend, don't over-modify. If you're going to modify a car, that's fine, but don't do irreversible damage. If you got a car that's a rusty heap, you can do anything with it.
Yeah.
But what really makes me tear up a bit is a guy that bought a beautiful one-owner Premier that's been original all its life, and then they painted a funny colour and put a V8 in it and drop it to the ground to make a hot rod out of it.
Yeah.
Most of that is irreversible. You've just destroyed a car that's lasted 60 years. It could go another 50 years.
Oh, yeah, another 60, yeah.
If you're going to do a modification, make it reversible.
Yeah. Yeah. At least the next.
But it's your car. It is your car. Do what you want.
Well, what do they
it's
say?
individual's choice.
The word a lot of people use is custodian. So
absolutely.
You know,
but
if
they're
it's
there there for the true survivors. You buy a car that's already been modified.
Yeah.
The most you can do is live with what you've got and improve what you can. It might have an Aussie 4-speed put in it, or
like mine. I put cruise control on mine, and I love it.
Exactly.
I use it every time
Modern
I go
improvements.
out. I love it every time I go out. I use it on the M7, the M2, everywhere. All right. Well, thanks for taking time to chat with us, Terry. It was a spontaneous thing.
It was.
I really appreciate. Well, we really appreciate it. It's great to hear those stories and see what the HD and HR community is all about. Really,
I'm looking forward to June.
Yes, coming up very soon.
Sooner than you think.
All right. Thank you all. Good. Thanks, Terry. Cheers, buddy.
All good.